Welcome to DIYTryin.
Build something new.
I'm Patty Norton.
I'm Michael Hand.
We're actually more modding something or fixing something or restoring something.
What are we doing?
Well, actually, we're going to update the headlights on my truck, my headlamps. I can't see squat out of my truck. The lamps on my headlights are faded. They're yellow. They're crusty. They are 20-year-old plastic. So the first thing we're going to do is use a headlight restoration kit,
which we're just going to be buffing the light out.
Well,
basically.
First you sand, and then you sand with this higher grit sandpaper, and then you sand with a higher grit sandpaper, and then you get out the plastic polish, and then you seal it.
So that's the cheap, like you use your existing parts and you just make them better, right?
Yes.
So then next we're going to move on to replacing the bulbs.
Right. 9004s, which eat Nighthawks, were recommended by Daniel Stern. You can go on to Amazon, by the way. Buy a good headlamp. About a year ago, Consumer Reports did a roundup. Halogen headlight bulbs, higher priced lights, shine more brightly, but not further. And that's a big deal. You know, they reiterate later on in the article is that your bulbs fade with time. So if you have 5, 10-year-old light bulbs in your vehicle, you might want to just upgrade the light bulbs and you might be pleased with how much brighter everything gets. So we have new headlights on that.
And then the third thing is the reason that we have all this wire and fancy stuff. What are we doing?
The chart you're looking at right now is from Daniel Stern Lighting, and what it is a comparison of the lumens coming out of a light bulb versus the voltage going into the light bulb, right? And what you might find out is that because like in my truck, this is awesome, the electricity goes from the battery to the switch on the dashboard, and then all the way back to the headlamp. So there's like 12, 15 feet of wiring between my headlights and the bulbs, or my headlights and the batteries.
A little roundabout way to do it.
Yeah, especially given the fact that the batteries and the headlamps are 8 inches from each other inside the vehicle. By using the existing wiring, we're gonna patch that into a relay. The relay is gonna control the 12 gauge wire into a heavy duty lamp socket. And I'm gonna plug these into my vehicle, and hopefully that will have an enormous increase in the amount of light coming out of the front of my vehicle.
Let's go to the car.
Yes.
Truck thing.
Most headlight restoration kits involve 2 stages. First sanding, then buffing.
So first we stuck on a 1000 grit pad and sanded horizontally until the lens was no longer yellow. It should have a kind of scratchy haze across the whole lens at this point. Then we brought out the 3000 grit pad and did a whole lot of sanding, this time vertically.
If you have nice paint, unlike my truck, you're gonna wanna get out blue masking tape and make sure all the paint around your headlamp is masked off so you don't trash it. Michael got to fire up the polishing pad. Make sure to keep feeding the polish onto the pad, and quite frankly, it looks almost new when you're done. The results were pretty impressive. See how bright the headlight on the right is? That's the one we polished.
Yeah, Patrick walked in front of the left headlight and there was almost no change at all. And then he walked in front of the right headlight, which is the one we polished, and it just got dark.
And by the way, I know I need to aim my headlights, but there's 1,500 pounds of decomposed granite in the bed, so the truck's not quite as level as it normally would be. After the first round of testing, Michael polished the driver's side headlamp while I swapped in a fresh set of headlight bulbs, which you can't touch with your fingers or get dirty lest they burn out fast. Getting them in was, well, it almost took as long as the polishing because my lamp sockets are buried in front of the batteries halfway in the fender, and it was kind of a contortionist act.
After we got the lenses polished and the new bulbs in, the difference was kind of amazing. And look at all that lens flare. It is very late.
It is too late.
We should have done this one during the winter.
When night starts earlier.
So definitely the thing that we found was that on your truck at least, polishing made probably the biggest difference. It was kind of insane how it went from yellow and crufty to clear. You could actually see through it.
And we could also see the fact that there's like a quarter cup of water in each headlight, and the focusing lens area of the front of the headlamp is covered with little water droplets, which is probably diffusing the light, and my lighting could get even better if I go ahead and either figure out how to dry these and seal these, or just buy a new set of headlamp enclosures.
So I'd say new light bulbs didn't make a huge difference. I guess it depends on what you had in there before.
There were, what I didn't know, when I used vehicle when I bought it, there were two radically different, there were two radically different bulbs of what I think are two radically different vintages. I think one of them improved more than the other, but still compared to the difference in polishing the scum, polishing the yellow haze, the aging of the aged plastic, the decomposed plastic off the lens, that still made a huge difference. Like I want to like polish the headlights on my wife's car tonight because it'll make such a huge difference.
You're never gonna sleep.
True.
The last thing we tried was wiring in shorter wires that didn't take the round trip, but we didn't see a huge, on your truck, we didn't see a huge difference in voltage.
No, it was
There was like maybe half a volt
yeah,
drop.
there's about a half a volt drop that we eliminated by tying the lights directly into the battery, and I would have expected more of an increase.
Up next, LED bulbs that are $250 each. All right, well, we're gonna go to sleep now. Thank you for watching.
Please subscribe, youtube.com/DIYTryin or DIYTryin.com. If you know about the pains of lighting, or if you got an automotive project you want to suggest for us, a hack, a tweak, a trip, don't ask us to do the hydrogen thing because it doesn't work. Comment down below or tweet at Tekzilla.
I'm Michael Hand.
I'm Patrick Norton.
See ya. Exfoliating.
Your beard.
I just realized I could polish my glasses.
You could polish your glasses with that.